Hi, Justin here from Combative Edge Martial Arts, and we're doing another fabulous episode of Lead the Minutes. Okay, as we know, you cannot be a fabulous leader until you learn how to lead yourself fabulously. Now, as you know, you can always catch the full episode on leadtheminutes.com. Today, I would like to talk to you about encouragement, to encourage someone, to encourage yourself, okay? Now, basically, encourage could be a kind word, something kind that you tell somebody else. And a lot of the time, this comes from love, right? It comes from wanting the best for somebody from a loving spirit. And what happens is when you have a loving spirit, you start to feed others that loving spirit, and they can sense it through your encouraging words. And I think that's very, very important because everybody needs encouragement. I need encouragement. You need encouragement. We all need to be encouraged. And what's funny about that is when you have encouragement and you start to encourage others, it's like it goes around in a circle. So you're starting to encourage others. Maybe you're encouraging your teammates, for your business, or maybe you're encouraging your students at school, or maybe other teachers. And you start to do that, it will come back. That encouragement will come back and it will encourage you. So it's a circle that goes around. But the funny thing is that it won't start unless you start it, unless I start it. So if I want encouragement to come back to me, I have to encourage others first. And that's the beauty about this, because when you encourage others first, you start to feel good about yourself. And then that person will feel good about themselves. And then what happens is it will circle back to you. So encourage with a kind word. Encourage with a kind word, for my business, I run a martial arts school, and we're always trying to encourage our students, always telling them that they can do it. And a lot of the time, they don't think they can do it. They don't think they can do it. And one of my sayings is I'll look at them and I'll say, hey, I say you can do it. So that means you can do it. And what I say goes. That's law. And they would smile and they would giggle and they would laugh and they would say, okay. And then I would quickly say, succeed or fail, try it anyway. Don't worry about if you win or lose, or you succeed or fail right now. Worry about just doing it. Encourage yourself to do it. And I'm encouraging you to do it. And they will do it. And they go. And 90% of the time, the kids, believe it or not, are not even worried, or they don't even think about winning or losing. They're just thinking, oh my God, I did it. And they get excited. And then that feeling right there will launch them to what? Well, I want to do it again, but I want to do better next time. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, I really like doing this. I want to be the best that I can be. And it will start to, fall like dominoes. But it has to start with encouragement. Kids, they need others to believe in them for them to learn how to believe in themselves. I'm going to say that again. Kids need others to believe in them to learn how to believe in themselves. So in a way, what you should do is you should put a number 10 on every single kid's head. A number 10. And that could be like the highest level they could ever get. And you treat everybody like a 10 that is on their head. and you encourage them and you root for them and you cheer them on, and they will somehow find their way. They will go off-roading and they will fall into a pit and they will come back up, but they will get to that number 10. Why? Because they know you believe in them. Do you know how many people want somebody to just believe in them in this world? Think about that for a minute. Do you want somebody to believe in you in this world? I know I do. So, how hard would you work if you had somebody constantly believing in you? How far would you go if you had somebody telling you, you can do it, I believe in you, you can do it? And then all of a sudden, by hearing those words, you're like, I can do it. And then you start to believe in yourself. So encouragement is almost like teaching somebody how to ride a bike. At first, they're wobbly, right? You have mom or dad. I know my mom taught me how to ride my bike, right? So there I am, I'm trying to go, I'm pedaling, and she is running behind me, and she's encouraging me. She's telling me you can do it. And I'm all scared. I'm like, what if I fall off the bike? She goes, then you just get up and you do it again. She's like, and I'm like, it's gonna hurt. She's like, yeah, it's gonna hurt, but you can do it. And so I was doing it, I was riding, and then she finally let me go, and I kept on pedaling. Now, think about that. And then if I fell off my bike, she would be there. She would pick me up and be like, you're okay. Get back on the bike. Do it again. And every time I got on the bike, it got easier and easier and easier to the point where I took off. But every once in a while, what happens? Maybe you stumble, you fall, mom is there, she encourages you, you do it again. Or maybe, right, you're biking, you have all that encouragement, but then life starts to hit you, like some wind starts to go, and you're biking into that wind, and it gets really, really hard. And you start to slow down, and it starts to get tiring. And then somebody, mom, dad, whoever, husband, wife, whispers in your ear, you can do it. I believe in you. Go get him. Knock him dead. I'm with you no matter what. And you feel that energy start to build up, and all of a sudden that wind doesn't seem so strong because you are barreling through it. That's what encouragement does for other people. That's what it can do for you. So look at somebody with a number 10 on their head, right? A number 10, right there. Maybe not looking like bunny ears like I have here, but a number 10 on their head. And encourage them to reach that 10. You treat somebody like $1 million, they will think that they're $1 million, and then they will become that person. You treat somebody like garbage, they will think that they're garbage, and they will become garbage. Okay? It's very important. And also know that if you're treating people like garbage, that means what? You are treating yourself, right? When you encourage others, you are really encouraging yourself. When you treat others badly, you're really treating yourself badly. These are things that are very, very important to understand. So encourage yourself, encourage others, and allow them to become the person that they are destined to be. It's very, very important. Very, very important to encourage others, especially kids, especially little kids, because they're soaking in all the information, and they are, and they believe in what you say. And they look up to you. So be that person to encourage them, to give them the tools that they need, the words of wisdom that they need to hear, the encouragement, the push through. And be there every time they fall on their face. Be there standing next to them, telling them, come on, get up. You can do it. Get up. And they slowly get to their feet and they're looking at you and the tears are coming down their face. It's like, it's all right. Wipe your tears away. You got to shed your tears to shed your fears. Right? That's the saying that we have here at Combative Edge. You have to shed your tears to shed your fears. You got to get over that fear. What you cry about today, you won't cry about tomorrow. But in the midst of all of that, it's a lot of showering of encouragement, telling them they can do it, telling them to try it again. Okay? Because one thing that's very, very important here is to make sure that that the encouragement that they're getting is being backed by real activity, right? If you can't encourage somebody, really, you can always encourage somebody, but they're going to realize that it's not going to be worth value if they're not achieving something, right? There's no worth there. So when you encourage somebody, encourage them while they're struggling through something. So when they get over it and they get past it, those words of encouragement are worth something. Okay? So it's very, very important to always encourage your students, but encourage them while they're struggling. That's going to be the maximum impact that you can make on somebody, is to encourage them while they're struggling. While they fall on their face, while they fall off their bike, while they, maybe they messed up at a dance recital, or they're scared to go on their first dance recital or their piano recital, right? Or maybe a martial arts competition or a tournament, whatever it may be. If they're scared, encourage them, because they will hang on to those every words for like as if life depends on it, because that's what they need. And they will learn that they will learn the process of encouraging, and they will learn how to encourage by being encouraged, right? So you have to encourage them for them to learn how to encourage themselves and to encourage others. So encourage is such a powerful, powerful word that we need to use all the time. And it's got to come from a loving spirit that's feeding, because they got to be able to feel that. They got to be able to feel that encouragement. They got to be able to feel that warmth that's coming from that person that truly believes in them. Encouragement will not work if you say it in a way that you don't truly believe it. If you don't believe in that person can really do it and you're trying to encourage them, it will not work. That's why it's so important to truly believe, to see a 10 on everybody's head, and to encourage them to reach their abilities, whatever that 10 may be, and to believe in them wholeheartedly from a loving spirit. And then you can feed into a feeding spirit, and then they will feel that warmth and they will believe you. They will believe you more than anything. And they will take those words as if they are law. That's why I can say that to my students, because they know that I teach from a loving standpoint. And I encourage them, and I believe in them so much that I tell them, dude, when I say it goes, it's law. You don't define, you don't break my law, it's law. If I say you can do it, you can do it. Do we understand? They look at me like, yeah, I understand. Good. Because what I say goes. And they love that conviction that comes out of me. They love that confidence that come out of me because they take it and they grab onto it and they hold on to it and they're like, and it's almost like, okay, I got some confidence. I got it. And what they're really learning is they're learning how to be confident in themselves. They're learning how to encourage themselves. And that's really what you want. You don't want them depending on you forever. No. You want them to look back and say, you helped me during that time and I thank you. And because of you and because of what I learned from you, I can pass that on to somebody else. That's what you want. That's what I want. You know? I think that's one of the greatest gifts that we can give is to give ourselves to somebody, to give what we know, to give in a loving spirit, and to feed them in a loving way where they accumulate our knowledge and they believe what we're telling them, and we do it from an encouraging standpoint, from a truly caring, serving standpoint. And all of a sudden they start to begin to feel filled, but never full. Because you can never tire from somebody who does that for you, who does that to you. Think about it for a minute. Think about all the teachers you had. And think about the teachers that you had in school who taught from a loving standpoint, that fed from a loving standpoint, that served, that cared about you genuinely. You remember who they are. I bet you right now, if you were in the room with me and I asked you, what was that teacher's name? You would tell me. Mine was Mrs. Fremont. Come, what's yours? Mine was Mrs. Fremont. And if Mrs. Fremont, if you see this, hi, Mrs. Fremont. Mrs. Fremont was my hearing teacher way back in the day, way back a long time ago. And, and it was because of my mom. It was because of my mom that I got Mrs. Fremont. My mom, the schools, the education, the school, they were not doing what was best for me, and my mom had to go to war. Now, all you parents out there with kids that, with education and, I had an IEP with a learning disability, all that mumble jumble, y'all know it's a war. It's a war zone, and it shouldn't be, but it's a war zone. And my mom went through that same war zone, and she got Mrs. Fremont. Now, Mrs. Fremont was the first teacher that I ever had that I actually connected with. Now, talk about a teacher who believed in me. Talk about a teacher who encouraged me and who guided me with love and from a loving spirit and a feeding spirit. And she turned my whole world around. I went from a closed-off kid, angry with the world, to a kid who was still angry with the world, but I could talk about it now, and I would talk about it with her. She was more than a teacher for me. She was a life-changing. She was life-changing. And I bet every single one of you has that same type of person, at least one in your life. And I wish we could all be in the same room, because if we were all in the same room, I would say right now, everybody tell me that one teacher, go, and I would have everybody just spit out that person's name. Pop, 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 pop. One after the other. And right then and there, we would all know what that person did for us. And you're just like, oh my goodness, I got to do that for somebody else now. That is why encouragement is so powerful. Because You can't give, like Mrs. I can't give the time and the belief back to what Miss Fremont gave me. I can't do that. I can't give it back to her. You know, I can't. But you know what I can do? I can do for others what she did for me. I can pay it forward. And I can help as many kids as I can, as many adults that I can, because I've helped a lot of adults as well, the way Mrs. Fremont helped me. And if she was here next to me, $100 says, that's exactly what she would want me to do. She wouldn't want anything back, but she would smile with a big smile, and I can remember her like it was yesterday. You know, she was tall, dark hair, you know, fair complexion, very nice, patient. You know, she was soft spoken. I remember her like it was yesterday, and this was back in elementary school. I'm 45. So if she was here, she would nod her head. Yep, that's right. Pay it forward, Justin. And that's what we got to do. We got to remember all those teachers that helped us. We got to remember that one teacher that made a difference in our life. And then we got to think, well, what was so special about them? And what did they do? And 9 out of 100, $100 says that it was that encouragement. They believed in you. They believed in me when nobody else did, right? You know what I'm talking about. And that's why we need to be those people now. Could you imagine if everybody became that one person that encouraged them? We could change the world just by encouraging the kids today. Right? We talked about that. Right? Talked about today matters. Okay? Right? We gotta have, right? What do we talk about? We gotta have that faith. We can't see tomorrow, right? We gotta have that forward thinking. We gotta have that positive attitude. We gotta improve today, take action, and help in your strength zone. Help somebody in your strength zone. Encourage them. Truly believe in them from a loving spirit, from a feeding spirit, and help them. Because when you help them, you won't be the person they remember. Like I remember Mrs. Fremont, like you remember the people that were in your life. Right? And I truly believe that is the best way to give forward, to pay it forward, to in a way to pay back for those who helped us, because we can't give it back to them, but we can surely give forward. We can pay it forward. Our energy, our time. So encourage others, believe in them, and they in turn will begin to believe in themselves, and they will believe in you, and then they will grow up to become the person they are meant to be. I truly believe that. I truly believe everybody's meant to be somebody, but you have to learn how to lead yourself, right? Because we got to lead our minutes. We got to lead them. We got to make the decisions that we want to do, and we got to lead our minutes. We got to take charge and lead and live your life. It helps when people can encourage you, though, doesn't it? It helps when people believe in you. So when you start to encourage others, others will encourage you. When you start to encourage others, you will actually be encouraging yourself. Give to others first. and you will see a whole new world. Justin here from Combative Edge Martial Arts. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Just remember, you cannot be a fabulous leader until you learn how to lead yourself fabulously. I hope you guys enjoyed today's Lead the Minutes, and we will see you next time right here on Lead the Minutes. Bye-bye.